pleasure of serving in 5 administrations, I thought I would bring that perspective to the topic today, is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today based on my experience, and you'll see that in a moment, is that there is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of growing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that. But also there will be a surprise outbreak. And I hope by the end of my relatively short presentation, you will understand why history.
So you were told exactly what was coming 3 months before it came. You were programmed. The fear was already in there. And since that day, the coronavirus crisis is ushering in a new world order, and it was all predicted. Just a few months later, COVID hysteria hits the headlines, and 3 years later, government-directed tech censorship continues from that prediction. In 2020, the World Economic Forum hosted a cyber attack simulation on the global financial system.
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. To use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber pandemic.
In the same year, the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace released a report warning that the global financial system is vulnerable to cyber threats. Furthermore, from that study, they recommended a convergence of all intelligence agencies and banks from around the world to converge. And we saw that happen on January the 6th, 2021, when Bank of America, who is a member of the Carnegie Cyber Policy Initiative, shared private information with U.S. law enforcement agencies to go after protesters. What they did on January the 6th was already told should happen at that Carnegie meeting. What did Carnegie propose as a solution? Here it is: to merge all corporate banks, financial regulators, big tech, and the national security state. Now you see why small banks are going out of business. They want to bring all the money into a few large. If you've got money in a large bank now, get it out and get you to a small bank, or better yet, put it in gold and silver. They have already told you what is coming. And they concluded that report with these words, I quote, "One thing is clear. It's not a question of if a major incident will happen, but it is a promise it will, but when." Now, just a few days ago, you were told, not long ago, that there's another pandemic on the horizon.
We do need more money, but we don't just need more money for vaccines for children eventually. We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic.
There is? Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
We do need more money, But we don't just need more money for vaccines for children eventually. We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic.
Okay. All right. There's going to be another pandemic, guys. So, I mean, that's from the so-called president. It's called fear. And the fear continues. It wants to control many of you watching me right now. Hardly will even leave your houses anymore because of the fear. But let me encourage you and remind you that there's another movie out right now, just came out, that's continuing the fear. They are predicting to you what's next. The name of the movie, it's on Netflix, called Leave the World Behind. And it was produced by none other than Hussein and Michael. And the fear and the distrust of ordinary people, the whole message of the movie, well, it said, don't trust white people. That's what the black folks said, don't trust white people. And there is a message being fomented in the brain of everyone that watches it, that in times of crisis, you cannot trust ordinary humans. No. You must distrust them. That way, we can censor them and limit your freedom. The fear arises out of a belief that only strong governments and global authorities can properly respond to imminent global crisis. And the corresponding idea that encourages resilience and autonomy and vaccine exemptions and preparedness among the citizenry is an impediment to saving the world. Let me break that down. In the movie, Leave the World Behind, you were taught one thing: humans are helpless. You were taught that there's no need in working together and being individual, autonomous, and, watching YouTube videos and trying to treat yourself and, No. Humans are helpless. You need a global government to protect you. In the movie, Leave the World Behind, here is what you were taught. You were taught to fear because you can't depend on your family to help you. That's right. The family in this movie, their name is the Sanfords, and they are dysfunctional. In the first scene of the movie, the family is on their drive to Long Island. Every member of the family in the movie is consumed by their phones or fiddling with the radio or earbuds in their ears listening to their MP4s, MP3s. The whole car ride is distraction filled, symbolic of the disunity of the American family. Both parents in this movie at one point flirt with the idea of cheating on one another. Gender roles are flipped on their heads in this movie, as the mother, Amanda, is the only one capable of taking action during a crisis. Meanwhile, the father, Clay, who is probably a model male feminist, before the cyber attack, he's completely useless throughout the movie. Good old Clay, the father, completely useless. He's incapable of leading the family. The mama's leading the family. He doesn't own a weapon to protect his family with, the Second Amendment. No, he don't own a weapon. No, far too advanced for that. Wouldn't know how to use it if he did. He leaves his wife and children with strangers in this movie. At the same time, the son, Archie, is a porn addict, the little boy, and he's rude to his whole family. And the little sister Rose, she's in love with Friends on television. She said that gives her comfort when she feels scared and hopeless. The television, definitely not her family, gives her comfort because she don't have a family. Rose said she gets more happiness and human connection from the show Friends than her own family. The Sanfords are not united. And in the wake of this disaster, what is the disaster? Exactly what they predicted. Cyber attack. And Michael and Hussein made a movie to tell you what's coming, but also to show you that your families are so messed up. Don't lean on them. Don't lean on your church. Lean on your government. At first, we may tell you not to wear the you-know-whats, but give us a few days and we'll beg you to. Depend on the science. Without the amenities that the Sanford family had, without their devices and their distractions, they're lost. In a real cyber attack, the Sanford family would never survive. Why? They can't work together. They can't depend on one another. Nobody can do anything. We are living in these uncertain times. And brothers and sisters, we will face another crisis very soon. But do not believe what Leave the World has taught you, that we are afraid and helpless. Because we actually do have control over a few key things. We don't have to be like the Sanfords, desperately needing a government. Our forefathers didn't need a government when the Indians attacked them. They came together. We must begin cultivating a loving, cohesive, faith-filled family and a society by spending time with one another, being patient with one another, recognizing the value of each family member. And do not surrender to the fear porn. Especially, the only people that have to surrender to fear porn are those that are not grounded on the Word of God. Listen to me. If you are not grounded in truth, you will be crushed with lies. Ground your feet in truth and become like a tree planted by the river of water. I shall not be moved. When you surrender to Christ, you cannot surrender to fear porn. When you surrender to the Word of God, you will never be afraid of anything. Yeshua the Messiah over and over and over said, fear not. They want you to fear. Why? Because they do not want you to believe that Yahweh the Creator is in control. No. These elites want to usher in a new religion of humanism. They want you to know that lesser humans must trust in greater humans or specialists or experts. The little people must learn to trust in the big people. But to get you there, we must make you afraid